Hi guys, welcome back and welcome back to another recipe. So I have been craving some cereal, but of course I'm not going to get it from the store. I'm going to make it myself. So these are my ingredients that I'm going to use to make the cereal. Stay tuned. Okay, so the base of our cereal is going to be started with old-fashioned rolled oats, 3 cups. And here's the last cup. There you go. That's the rolled oats. Moving on to the next ingredient. So our next ingredient is quinoa. There you have it. I'm going to put 2 cups of quinoa. So these are our 2 nuts that we will put into this cereal. Pecan halves and shelled walnuts. And I'm going to do a cup of each and just break them up with my hand so that they're not too small. So when you break it up with your hand, you're just like mashing them in between your fingers, and you will see that the oil is going to come out of these. And this is one reason why we're not going to put any added oils in this, because the oils that the nuts have already is sufficient for the recipe. So you just break them up into smaller pieces. If you see a piece that you want to break even smaller, go right ahead and just give it a little squish and break it up. And there you have it. I'll do that for my nuts. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing with my walnuts. Here it is, pressing it between my fingers very gently. And there is the little oil. You can see the oil, the shininess on my finger. It's the oil that is coming out of the nut, and so therefore this is going to be the only oil that is in this recipe. So we could technically call this oil free because we're not adding any additional oils. So guys, after I put in the nuts, I do a little distribution check to make sure that everything looks evenly distributed. And I think I can put a little bit more nuts, so I may put half a cup of the pecans and half a cup more of the walnuts. But I'll see that at the end because I still have other things to put in here, like raisins and carob chips and coconut flakes. So let's get to that. Okay guys, so to watch the sweetness of this recipe, you really have to be careful, and if you want to reduce the sugar, I will advise you not to put any sugar, but I'm going to use this demerara sugar, and I'm only going to use a cup of it. But I also have the carob chips, which are going to be a little sweet, and then I have raisins, but I have some unsweetened coconut flakes that I'm using here. So I'm not too worried about those because those would not add any extra sweetness to the cereal. You know, you want it to be as healthy as possible. So I'm also going to add some low glycemic coconut nectar so that it'll help bind the ingredients together as well. So here we go. We'll go with our demerara sugar to start off with, and then we'll move on to our other ingredients. Okay, to balance that off, we're going to use some pink Himalayan salt right in there, and really we're only going to be using about a teaspoon of this. Here I go with the carob chips, and that's only a half a cup of those in there. And now my golden raisins. This is not a full cup, but it's almost a cup of golden raisins. And in we go with our coconut nectar, low glycemic. So folks, this is not going to do anything much to your blood sugar or insulin levels. But hey, don't listen to me with that one. I'm not a doctor. Just a home chef. So this is the coconut nectar, and this is so good. We put these on pancakes. We use these in recipes like our ice creams also. And it is so good. So this is about a half a cup of the coconut nectar, and I'm gonna let this flow downward some more so that I can see how much more I can get out of it. So last 2 ingredients, which are optional, cinnamon and some vanilla flavoring, and we're going to put a touch in there. Actually, you can use to taste. You can season to taste with these. I don't want the cinnamon to overpower, so I'm only gonna put a little bit of in there, probably a 1/4 teaspoon. So for easy cleanup, I've placed some wax paper in a very large flat pan so that I can spread this out nicely. Nothing will be on top of each other. Try to spread it out evenly and nicely. And I'm going to mix this up. Once I mix this up, we'll be ready to go. Stay tuned. So here we are, and I would have liked to put some grade A maple syrup if I had it. So if you don't have the coconut nectar, you can put grade A maple syrup, or if you're okay using the regular maple syrup, go ahead and use that, but I would have chosen to put grade A maple syrup in this as well to enhance the flavor. So here's the distribution of our cereal, and it looks so good. Everything looks evenly distributed. It looks like enough of each ingredient is in there, and so I'm satisfied with how this looks. I'm going ahead now and pouring this into the pan over here that has been lined with parchment paper for easy cleanup, and I'm going to make sure it lays flat. So here we are, and so now all I'm going to do is gently push this to the corners of this pan, making sure that everything is laying pretty flat, that it's not heaped up in any one area. And that's how our cereal looks, guys. We're going to toast this in the oven for 35 minutes on about 375 degrees, and we're going to turn this every 10 minutes. Here we have it, guys. I'm going to do this, the first flip, making sure to mix this up nicely, making sure that it's not sticking and that everything is cooking well. Listen to me. The house is smelling great. And I have one more surprise for this cereal once it comes out of the oven. Okay, so I'm gonna let this sit for another 10 minutes. That's the first 10. Let it sit for another 10 and then come back and check it out. Bye. So this is the finished product for my cereal, and I'm adding one more ingredient, and that special ingredient is ginger. I'm adding a few dashes of ginger to just spike this up a bit. There you go. And there you have it. You wait until this is cool. Once it's cool, you can stir it and enjoy.